So today's video is an overview of the 5 steps to financial freedom. Plus, I have a new format, so comment below and tell me if you like this new format or if you like the old format better. And let's dive right in. So my 5x2 financial freedom framework is going to help you actually become financially free by giving you the simple steps in order to do that. Because 72% of Americans report being financially stressed each month. And we for sure don't want that. Plus, 75% of us can expect to see our assets disappear before we die if we do not have a proper plan in place, which is another reason I am sharing this framework with you guys today. And I really like this quote by Jim Rohn. It says, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." And the reason I am sharing this is because I learned quite a few things in college, but I kind of didn't learn certain life skills that I feel like everyone needs to learn. For example, how to buy a house and how to buy a car without paying a lot of money in order to do that, and how to set up a budget. These simple things that pretty much most people are going to do throughout their lives. So while yes, I did learn a lot in college, especially because I was a business major, but it didn't really relate to my personal life that much. So that is part of the reason I am sharing this framework with you, so that you can get those basic skills in order to succeed at life and especially with your finances. And I just want to show you a little bit of proof in case you're thinking, Tiffany, people don't really become financially free, and especially not at young ages. I have a whole list of people that have become financially free at young ages. As you can see, Mr. Money Mustache is at the top of my list. And all of these people are part of the FIRE movement, Financial Independence Retire Early movement. And I go into more detail about the FIRE movement in another video, so I will leave a link above and below. You can check that one out later on. But I just wanted to show you that a lot of people are retiring early or becoming financially free at young ages in their 30s and 40s. And you can see the last one on my list is Paula Pant at affordanything.com. I have checked her website multiple times for a lot of real estate questions that I have had. Plus, I have one more evidence for you, and that would be myself. I became financially free at age 38, and I also became a millionaire. So if you are looking to do one or both of those things, make sure and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. And I'm going to get right into my financial freedom framework. Here it is broken down for you guys. So step 1 is all about our mindset. We need to believe that we can become financially free, and then we need to know why we want to become financially free. Then the second step is to know where you are now. Where are you financially right now? So that we can move forward, so that we can make progress. We need to know all of the details about our spending plan, or a budget like a lot of people like to call it, but I like to call it a spending plan. And we want to know our net worth so that we can increase that over time. And then step 3 is to know where you're going, where you're headed. You want to know what your financial freedom number is, the actual amount you'll need to have invested in order to become financially free and live off of your investments. And then you want to know when you want to achieve financial freedom, and we will figure out how to do that. And then step 4 is how you are going to get there, how you will become financially free. We will talk about decreasing our expenses, and don't worry, it's not all about just cutting back on everything and not living a joyful life and enjoying things. Plus, we'll talk about increasing our income, because that is the flip side of decreasing our expenses. And then we'll also want to make our money work for us, because we don't want to be working for the money all of the time. And then step number 5 is to stay financially free. We want to secure that financial freedom, and we do that by being smart and also be giving. So let's go over each of these in a little bit more detail. Let's dive in and talk about step number 1, which is all about our mindset, believing we can become financially free, and then understanding why we want to become financially free. We really have to have the right mindset mindset to become financially free, to work on our financial freedom plan. We can be given all of the tactics and even the best investments to make, but if we don't actually believe we are going to become financially free, then we most likely will not take that action. So make sure and have that belief of becoming financially free. Achieving financial freedom begins with that belief, because what you believe will happen will happen. If you believe you'll be stuck at your 9-to-5 job for the rest of your life, then you are going to be stuck at a 9-to-5 job the rest of your life and not be able to retire. But if you believe you can become financially free, then you will be able to. You have to take that action once you have that belief. You can't just believe it and kind of will it to be. You have to also take the action along with your belief. And then the second part is to know why you want financial freedom. This will help motivate you on your path to becoming financially free. We need a reason to be on the path to financial freedom, and we can create a why statement in order to help us remember why we want to become financially free. For example, some of my why statement includes building up my own dream instead of building up someone else's dream, and also not having to ask for a day off, and just being able to spend time on things that I want to be spending time on, or spending time with people I want to be spending time with. So think about some different reasons why you want to become financially free and actually write them down. Create that why statement. You can turn it into multiple sentences, have a little paragraph, and you can reference that when you start to deviate off the path or if you just get discouraged. And it can be something as simple as you just don't want to be stressed about money. You don't want to be in debt anymore. You want to have that peace of mind and be able to sleep at night. And then the second part of my 5x2 financial freedom framework is to know where you are now. We are going to talk about our spending plan and our net worth. So I know a lot of people like to use the term budget, but I think it's more fun to say a spending plan. So you really want to have your budget or spending plan in place. You want to know all of your income that's coming in, and you want to know all of your expenses, everything that is going out and where it's going out to. We can't know where we're headed if we don't know where we are currently with our finances. One of the things that I like to use that makes it a lot easier to keep my spending plan up to date is a free app. It's called Personal Capital. You can hook all of your financial accounts to Personal Capital, like your checking, your savings, your credit cards, your mortgage, your 401k, everything that you can think of. Hook it all to Personal Capital so that you can see everything in one place. And it makes it really easy to start tracking where you are spending your money. And then you can start to make changes and say, okay, maybe I shouldn't be eating at Chick-fil-A as much, or maybe I shouldn't be going clothes shopping as much. If Personal Capital is something you're interested in, I will leave my referral link below. You can click on that link to set up a free account with Personal Capital. Otherwise, you can just set up an Excel spreadsheet or even just handwrite everything. But figure out exactly where you are with your finances, what's coming in and what's going out. A net worth is your assets minus your liabilities, essentially what you own minus what you owe. And you want this number to increase over time, even though it will go down sometimes, especially when the stock market is down. But over the long term, you want to see this number increase. And just to give you a quick example, this would be taking your car that you have, your home that you have, the value of those two things, the amount that you have in your checking, in your savings, in your 401k, things like that, and add all of those things up. And then you'll take all of your debts, everything that you owe, which could be your car loan and your mortgage loan that you have, and any student loans, any credit card debt that you might have. And you'll subtract that from your assets, from everything that you own, and that is going to be your net worth. And part of the reason we are figuring this out now is because it's going to come into play later in the process. Comment below and tell me if you already know your net worth. And then the third step is to figure out where you're going. We want to figure out our financial freedom number and when you want to be financially free. So let's talk about your financial freedom number. In order to figure out the amount you need to have invested, not sitting in a savings account, but actually invested, you'll want to take your annual expenses, and this will be your your expenses during retirement. And I know that can be kind of a hard concept, but to make it easier, you can just do your annual expenses currently and maybe add a little bit of a buffer to that. So just give this a good guess. Figure out what your annual expenses would be, and then you're going to multiply that number by 25. And that is going to give you your financial freedom number. And I go over this in more detail in another video, so I will leave a link above and below. You can check that one out later on. To give you an example, if your expenses are $50,000 a year, you're going to multiply that by the number 25, and that is going to give you 1.25 million. And that would be your financial freedom number, that number or amount you want to work toward to have invested. And then the second part of this step is going to be when you want to achieve financial freedom, when you want to become financially free. And there is a really cool calculator online, and I put the link here. It's networthify.com. And this is going to help you figure out how much you'll need to be investing currently in order to achieve financial freedom when you want to. You'll want to make sure that you are investing in things that have a high enough risk so that you can have a higher return. For example, if you are looking to grow your wealth, you'll want to be investing in mainly stocks because that will help you grow your wealth. And bonds on the opposite end will help you preserve your wealth. So once you hit financial freedom, you may want to transfer your money over to bonds or a bond fund. And that way you can kind of preserve your wealth instead of focusing on growing your wealth. And then to just give you an example, I went to this calculator online and typed in some numbers. So let's say you are age 35 and you want to retire in 31 years at age 66. So if you put in that you make $55,000 a year and you are investing 10% of that income and you already have a portfolio amount of $82,500, then you would be able to have a monthly investment of about $417, and that would get you to financial freedom at age 66. And just go and check out this calculator because it's really fun to run some different scenarios and just see if you increase that savings rate is what it's called on here, but the amount that you are investing, how much sooner you can actually retire. And if you've already used a calculator similar to this or this exact calculator, let me know in the comments and tell me if it was helpful for you or not. All right, and then we are moving to step number 4, which is how you will get there, how you will get to financial freedom. And the first part of this is going to be focusing on decreasing our expenses and increasing our income. And the second part is going to be focused on making your money work for you. So let's talk about decreasing our expenses and increasing our income. You already know your expenses and your income because you set up your spending plan earlier. So this will make it really easy. You want to go over each expense that you have and see where you can cut back and say, okay, where am I spending the most money? And do I really need to be spending the money in these certain categories? Or is something else more important? Maybe you don't really care to go out to eat. Maybe you would rather go to a play. So cut back on going out to eat, and then you can spend money on going to a play. And also take a look at your fixed expenses, especially your car insurance or even your rent, and figure out how you can reduce those expenses. You can call around to different insurances and see if they have better rates. You just have to put forth a little bit of effort and you can cut back on a lot of expenses. And like I mentioned, you want to match your spending to your priorities, not someone else's priorities. And while you are decreasing those expenses and then increasing your income, your happiness is also going to increase because you are focusing on spending money on what's important to you. And then as far as increasing your income, think about the lowest hanging fruit. What is going to be the quickest way to increase your income right now? And that could be to just sell a few items and have a little boost in your income. Or maybe you haven't gotten a raise at work for a while, so ask for the raise. Or maybe it is time to switch jobs and get an increase in pay that way. Think about some simple ways that you can just increase your income. Even if it is a really small amount, it is going to add up over time. And then the second part of this is how to make your money work for you instead of us working for the money all of the time. There are numerous ways to make your money work for you. You can start with one simple way and then expand later. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. Here are some examples. You can invest in the stock market. I talk about this all the time on my channel, and I have plenty of videos about how to get started investing in the stock market. You can invest in stocks or in funds or even in bonds if you're looking to preserve your wealth. But you can keep it very simple. You could just maybe set up a Roth IRA. I like using Vanguard, and just start contributing a small amount each month into an index fund. And if you want to know what my favorite index fund is, I have a video for you. I'll leave a link above and below. But just pick something and get started. And it doesn't have to be in the stock market if that's not something that interests you. I also like investing in real estate. I like investing in buy and hold properties. So I buy the property, plan to hold it for the long term. So I'll put tenants in there and then collect cash flow every single month. You don't have to use that strategy if you don't want to. There is a number of different strategies that you could do. You could invest in commercial real estate or even do fix and flips. And then you could also set up your own business if you want to. And one of the nice perks about having your own business is that you get to save a lot of money in taxes, but you also get to create things that you are passionate about. So you could create some digital products that could start creating some passive income for you. So think of different ways on how you want your money to work for you. Just pick one and start very simply. And then the last step, step number 5, is securing your financial freedom. We're going to talk about being smart and being giving. So what I mean by being smart is just take a step back and think, okay, what are a few things that I need to have in place in order to make sure that I continue to build my wealth, or at least preserve my wealth. And one of those is going to be to protect yourself, your investments. You'll want to set up a will or a trust. You want to make sure that you have beneficiaries listed on all of your investment accounts. Things like that. You want to protect those investments. You also want to make sure you have insurance, right? So if you own a home, you want home insurance. You want to make sure if there is a fire or something bad that happens, that you have insurance that can help take care of that. And then you'll also want to be flexible. So this just means that you want to keep an eye on your investments and on the stock market if you've chosen to invest in the stock market. And when you see a decrease in the stock market, when things start to go down, you'll want to slowly decrease your spending. Or if you see an increase in the stock market, your investments go way up, then you could increase your spending a little bit and have a little bit more fun. So just be willing to be flexible. And then also just watch for opportunities. Just because you're financially free doesn't mean you can't invest anymore. Look for opportunities that you could even make your money work a little bit more for you. Maybe you have a daughter or a granddaughter that wants to start a business. Maybe you could give her some capital to get started, but take a little percentage back and then invest that percentage in another grandchild or something like that. Just be aware of different opportunities that could be coming your way. And then make sure to keep an eye on how much you're paying in taxes. You want to keep those as low as possible. So realize what's in your tax advantaged accounts and your non-tax advantaged accounts, and make sure that you are depleting those in the best way possible. And then the second part is to be giving. Generosity is the path to wealth. Be giving throughout your entire journey. And I really feel like this makes a big difference, even though it seems counterintuitive to building your wealth if you are giving away money. But we don't want to be just focused on the money itself, because that is going to make us super selfish and very unhappy. So we want to make sure that we are looking out for others. And I'm not saying be extreme in your giving. You don't want to give away all of your investments and then run out of money in retirement. But I think that we can share and we can inspire other people and be helpful toward others. And also you'll want to be smart and secure your investments so that you can leave a legacy for your family, for your posterity. Instead of thinking about getting and spending all of the time, let's focus more on giving and receiving and participating kind of in a larger circle. So it's not just all about us. And then remember to be satisfied with what you have. Otherwise, you'll continue to just want more and more and more, and it will never be enough. You'll never be content. And we definitely don't want that happening. We want to make sure we are living a balanced life and not just focusing on the money all of the time. And I go into depth a little bit more about this in another video, so I'll leave a link above and below. And I just wanted to share this study that was done. So a team of researchers found that generous people have healthier bodies, minds, and relationships. And in the long run, they actually make more money than people who are selfish. In other words, it literally pays to be generous. So it's not just me saying this, but there have been studies that have been done show that people are actually healthier, which reduces your medical expenses, and they are happier and even wealthier. So this is my 5x2 financial freedom framework. And if you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information, and hit the subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hit the little bell to get notified on when I post new videos. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure and check out the videos on the side of the screen. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.